welcome to Diversity Management and Consulting Limited. We are glad to spend some time with you today discussing something which is of a lot of importance to us. Actually, it is about one of our most important programs, which is the economic empowerment of the woman and the girl child. We've been opportune to work with the African Development Bank on a program called the Growth-Oriented Women Enterprises. This program was meant to accompany and support Cameroon businesswomen to be able to overcome some challenges that they have, to be able to develop and grow their businesses. Actually, it was then being managed by the IFC, a member of the World Bank Group. So within this program, we were able to train about 400 women in Cameroon, and the idea was to support them, to bring them up to the level where they could get access to commercial business in order to grow their businesses, mindful of the difficulties that women have to access finance because of the type of guarantees that they request from them that they do not have access to, such as land. So you will ask me at the end of the day, how many of these women actually got access to commercial finance? I'll answer this question in a minute. Thank you. So here I will go through an overview of the growth-oriented women enterprises. What it is that we achieved. What was it actually? The idea was women facing difficulties to develop their businesses. And it was understood that part of the problem is access to managerial skills that they do not have, and the other one was access to funding. So our work was mainly on accompanying them, first of all, to acquire the managerial skills by walking them through or facilitating certain disciplines on some of the key managerial skills that they need, such as business planning, such as basic record keeping, such as financial analysis, even if it was just at their own level, and then how to optimize costs in order to improve on their profit. So that is what we did over a period of 6 months or thereabouts. Who were the persons who were eligible to this for this program? Small and medium-sized enterprises managed mainly by women who have been in existence for at least 2 years. At least 50% of the shareholders of the company have to be women, and women have to be at the managerial level, and the owners have to be able to contribute at least 20% of the project cost. And also, they should potentially be able to understand how to develop a business plan. They were not supposed to develop the business plan themselves, but they should understand so that they can work with somebody who wants to develop their business plan, in which case the business plan can be used by them for a tool for management of their businesses. And they should be able to, their business plans should be able to be appraised by the program bankers and be found to be feasible, either economically or otherwise. We were selected to be part of the technical implementers of that component, which is the component of capacity building and preparing and supporting the women to get access to finance by helping them to develop good business plans. So what did we do? We had to be sure that GOE criteria were respected by the women, and that the targeted population was actually those targeted by the project. That is, women who are into business, women who have properly structured businesses, and women who show enough commitment to the project. That is the one actually to acquire skills, grow their businesses in a profitable and sustainable manner. So what are the tools that we use for the delivery? The tools were some of the best tools that we have right now globally, which are tools that have been developed by the International Finance Corporation, which were called the Business Age tools, which are developed based on all the key components or key pillars of business management. So we had like the business plan, financial analysis. We had also like cost management, human resources management, sales techniques, operations management, productivity and quality control. Those were the main tools that we used, which means that we had these training modules were already prepared and available, and we customized them to the needs of these women. This means that we start always with training needs assessments, and then we identify the issues, and then we build these issues into the case studies. And during the workshop, the women find the solutions for their own problems, business management problems, and we facilitate by accompanying them actually to develop these solutions so that they can own them. Training needs assessment, as I said, customization of the training material to address the needs identified, and then the post-training monitoring and evaluation. Actually, the type of monitoring that we did was what we call supportive monitoring. Supportive monitoring means it is actually coaching. When you go to see how the person is implementing the actions that they had promised that they were going to implement in order to address the needs, that's the time when you are able to coach the person in case they were facing difficulties to implement those actions or those activities. So that is a key moment in the whole methodology, because acquiring concept skills in the classroom is okay, but implementing is not quite obvious. So it was very, very important for us, and at the end of that, we did an evaluation to see whether we were actually able to meet with the targeted impacts that were defined for the project. So in Cameroon, what was the impact? What was the impact in Cameroon? The entrepreneurs were actually trained in the key curriculums, and over 400 of them were trained. Some of them, but very, very few of them, were able to get access to finance based on the business plan that we worked with them to produce. Very few of them. And that was actually very disappointing. Most of the women trained were able to keep records, which they were not able to do before. And that was the most important. I think that was the most successful part of it. And most of them were able to read their financial records. This is a poultry somewhere in Ombe in the southwest region. This lady, before the workshop, was unable to keep records. And after the workshop, when we went for supportive monitoring, we realized that she was able to keep records. We coached her on the few difficulties she was having. And actually, she is able to present her project and tell you how much she's making from her poultry. This is Gladys, and this is her husband, Ufer. Here I am sitting here with Gladys and her husband, and we are going through her records. This is a young graduate who decided to set up her own business, and she was coached through and benefited from this project. Asheri Senze in Limbe. This is Asheri's business, and you see she's also into fashion with her Ash B design. Training is also fun. You can see me here dancing with a woman during an energizer. So this kept all of us going and focused. There was celebration also because all the women trained received an attestation. So after what we call collation in French, which is actually we ate and we drank, of course. That's very, very important for us Cameroonians. And we took some pictures with the attestations. So opportunities and limitations of GOA's technical components. Team building, networking, and advocacy opportunities. As the women came together and got to know themselves, they created networks, and some of them organized themselves into groups and within networks, and so they could hold each other's hand and speak out for each other. They received support and advisory from us, coaching, which helped them even after the pilot that we did. to be able to stay focused and manage their businesses better, but there was absence of market linkages because many of them who became creative and wanted to produce certain things, like some woman asking, okay, what if I want to commercialize my dole or the groundnut from the dole at a larger scale? Where am I going to place it to sell? We're able to provide that type of service or information to the woman. And then there is need for exposure. These women need also to link up with other women, maybe even in Africa. Why not for some sort of South-South collaboration so that they can improve on the exposure and then get stronger. So here we are. These are the impacts of this project, a very good project at that, but blocked somewhere because of some of it is the legislation. For example, the land, access to land. The banks will always want for you to bring your land title, but most of the women, married women, the land titles are not in their names. So what do we do? This will turn this over to the lawmakers, and we trust the women who are developing advocacy skills to be able to fight for this. Thank you.